Everybody, it's the Millennial Prepster here, and I want to talk about rabbit nutrition for a little bit. I've been getting some emails, people have been asking me in person, I get some messages on YouTube. People want to know about rabbit nutrition. What should I be feeding my rabbits? Is there certain ingredients I should be looking at? Is there certain brands you recommend? Things like that. So I kind of want to give you my perspective and my 2 cents on rabbit nutrition. As somebody who's been raising rabbits for a while, I understand the frustration, especially somebody that's just getting into either showing rabbits, meat rabbits, or just having a rabbit as a pet, as a companion animal. There's a lot there, and the internet sometimes does not make it any easier to find a solution. So with that, my kind of thoughts, perspectives on nutrition are: if I have an animal, whether it's a companion animal or a livestock animal, I want to give them the very best nutrition I possibly can. Because if I can't, my personal opinion, I shouldn't have the animal. So with that being said, here's some things to think about. I realize that most people, when they're looking at food for their animals, they're looking at three things mainly: price, ingredients, and availability. And those are great things to look at. But I feel like a lot of people get too caught up in the labeling. Don't get caught up in the labeling. The first advice I want to give you: look at the label, read the label, don't get caught up in it. Okay? So when I first started out with my New Zealand Blues, with my rabbits, I had them on a high quality commercial pellet food. Premium, really good quality stuff. It was called Oxbow Garden Select. And as far as pelleted food goes, commercial food, it was up there. It was definitely one of the better brands that you could purchase, and it was great. The rabbits loved it; they were growing. But as I started going down and going past just show rabbits, once they realized that I was going to breed them, and I was going to really stick to breeding them and really go down that path, I realized that the price of the food and the availability of food was really unfeasible. Like I said, great quality stuff, but a 25-pound bag of Oxbow, Garden Select rabbit food was going to cost me over $40 a bag, and then realizing that you go to the local feed store, or the pet store, they may have only one 25-pound bag of food. So what do? Do I just buy one bag and keep coming back? Do I buy one big bag here, another big bag in another store? Do I buy one big bag and then spend more on the smaller bags, So that was something that I was, going through my head, because I knew it was great quality stuff and it's for my rabbits, But, as you start breeding them and you start going through rabbit feed, exponentially, you realize that this is a very unsustainable option. And I care about sustainability and preparedness, so I realized this is something I was going to have to fix. So when I did that, I realized that, okay, I need to come up with a solution. I need to come up with a solution now. So I reached out to the company. I said, hey, do you guys do, bulk discounts? You guys do, breeder discounts, stuff like that? Because some companies do. They do not. And not only do they not provide discounts, you can't even buy the food directly from them. You have to go through a subsidiary or a license, so somebody that's in their chain, somebody that is a licensed dealer for them, so to speak, which atypically are going to be pet stores and feed stores. So I realized that I had to make a decision. I had to decide: am I going to continue to spend the money, continue to go out of my way to make multiple trips in order to get this food, or am I going to have to part ways and go with another brand? And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going with a different brand. But before we start and start talking about that, I want you to take a look at the Oxbow brand and what I was feeding. And then obviously I'm going to show you what I'm feeding now and the solution that I came up with. So as you guys can see from the package and the ingredient list, the Oxbow is a high quality rabbit food. There's no doubt about it, So it's a good food, but like I said, I needed to come up with another solution, another approach. So I started looking at all my other avenues, and I pretty much found two things. When I went to the local food store or feed store or pet store, I found high quality foods, rabbit foods, commercial pelleted foods, but the price was negligible at best, and I was still having the same food availability problems that I was having before. And then you have kind of the other side of the spectrum. I was able to find, 30, 40-pound bags of feed that were cheaper, rabbit pellets, but the first three ingredients were like corn, wheat, grain byproducts, stuff like that. If I was going to feed my rabbit garbage, I just feed them garbage. So I realized real quick that my solutions that I was coming up with were not very feasible for my situation. And then I started looking online, and I actually did find a rabbit pellet that was a higher quality feed than what I was feeding at the time for $7 cheaper for a 30-pound bag. So I found a 30-pound bag of rabbit feed, better quality, $7 cheaper. However, it was not sold. I couldn't get it on one of the bigger websites, Amazon, Chewy, that kind of thing, which isn't bad, but the wait times for the pellets was significant. You're not getting the stuff shipped to you overnight. You're talking about anywhere between 12 to 16 days ground shipping time. And it was from basically when I looked into the company, it was, a small private company on the other side of the country that was, making their own pellets, which isn't a bad thing, but it wasn't helping me with my availability. Price was okay, better, ingredients, the quality was better, but the availability sucked. So then I started thinking outside the box, and this is the solution that I came up with. Your eyes are not playing a trick on you. I do, in fact, now feed a high-quality, premium horse feed to my rabbits. When I was looking and started to look for a out-of-the-box solution, I started thinking about, okay, well, I'm at the feed store. I know that horses are pasture-raised animals. I know goats are pasture-raised animals. I know cows are pasture-raised animals. I know lamb are pasture-raised animals. Rabbits are also pasture-raised. So then I started looking at the feeds for other livestock animals, and I realized something very quickly. The cheaper quality foods had something in common with the cheaper quality rabbit foods, commercially speaking. They were very grain heavy, very grain intensive, corn, wheat, soy, grain byproducts, stuff like that. And the higher quality feeds for livestock comprise mostly of a compressed timothy or alfalfa orchard grass pellet. And so then I started to look, well, let's see what the highest quality livestock feeds are and what their ingredients are. And lo and behold, guess what I found? A high quality special blend horse feed, the highest quality that the feed store has, is actually very high quality. It consists mainly of, exclusively actually pasture grass. And so I started to dig a little deeper, and I found something else that's very interesting. The nutritional density and readouts, the percentage-wise speaking, protein, fat, fiber, calcium, phosphorus, were all similar. But that should be of no surprise when you look at a commercial high-quality rabbit pellet that comprised mostly of timothy and alfalfa, and then you look at a high-quality horse pellet that comprise mainly of timothy and alfalfa. It's the same ingredients. So it should be no surprise that the nutritional density and readouts are almost identical. There should be no surprise there. And even with the special blend horse feed, if you look at the pellets, they're very small. They're the same size as the rabbit pellets. So when I was talking earlier about not getting kind of mixed up or not getting sidetracked or distracted by the labeling and marketing, that's exactly what I'm referring to. You can get a high quality food for your rabbit at a good cost. Just because it has a picture of a different animal and it doesn't make it any less value to you. It doesn't mean it's not good for your rabbit. So it's something that I encourage you guys to look at if you guys are kind of in the same boat as me, and you're looking for, an alternative that's going to give you the same quality, if not higher, at a better cost, and something that's locally available. I highly encourage go down your feed store, start looking at the premium brands of other foods that are being marketed to different animals. I think you'll be very surprised. So there you have it. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, guys, long live the Republic.